First tonight to a story of survival. Last night, the police officer in charge of the search for the Victorian Cabinet Minister, Tim Holding, was optimistic about his chances of surviving 2 nights out in sub-zero temperatures. Well, today, that optimism was vindicated when the rising political star was found alive and well in some of that state's most treacherous terrain. The Minister for Tourism and Water was discovered this morning near a makeshift shelter, and authorities have credited the happy ending to the 37-year-old's fitness, his experience in the bush and a good deal of luck. Perhaps inevitably, though, there is debate about just how much preparation is enough and how wise it is to go mountain hiking in the winter alone. Lisa Whitehead reports.
I'd just like to confirm the good news that we have located Mr Holding. We've just had confirmation that he has been identified via the camera off the police helicopter.
After 2 nights lost in rugged mountainous terrain, exposed to the elements and sub-zero temperatures, the Victorian minister's luck finally changed.
I think we all feel a bit emotional, and I think we all feel a little bit of elation and a bit of an adrenaline one as well. It's really great when these things do come to a happy ending, and to see him walk off the helicopter like his family, I was very, very pleased.
The 37-year-old's family and friends had been anxiously keeping vigil at the base of Mount Feathertop.
As you can understand, it was just a very sad time, very difficult time, but it's got a lovely ending, so that's what we were after.
It's no fun. It's been a rough couple of days, it really has.
The drama began to unfold late on Sunday night when Mr Holding failed to return to his car parked at the base of the mountain.
I was twitchy about it all day on Sunday because he hadn't contacted me at all, and that was unusual.
On Saturday morning, he'd set off on a popular walking track to the summit. He spent that night at a bushwalker's hut and was last seen early the next morning by fellow hikers.
On Sunday morning, he had a fall, which that's sort of taken him off the track, and that has led to him being lost. So hence, that's when the adventure started for him, was on the Sunday morning.
As the search continued today, the Mount Feathertop track was closed to hikers. About 5,000 trekkers tackle the summit each year. It's a dramatic walk with spectacular views, but it can also be treacherous, and it's claimed the lives of at least 2 experienced hikers in recent decades.
I guess people find themselves up the mountain sometimes and the weather closes in, and they get what's commonly referred to as summit fever, where they've made it so far and they want to try and finish their trip and reach their goal, and even in Australian circumstances it can find you in a lot of trouble.
Remarkably, Mr Holding has emerged from the ordeal with just cuts and grazes, testament to his former commando training in the Army Reserve and his history as a fitness fanatic.
He's very, very fit. And very determined, very hard to get the better of. So I think that would clearly get him through where others probably wouldn't have got through that sort of environment. Extremely
well prepared. He had let people know where he'd gone. He was in good physical condition, and he had good environmental things with him, as in food, water, clothing, that sort of thing. So he's done everything correct.
But it is thought that the minister wasn't wearing snowshoes or carrying an ice pick.
Not the European Alps, but we do have high alpine ice and snow conditions, so I think you need probably more grip.
Also of concern was that Mr Holding was on the trek alone. The State Emergency Service's own website advises hikers to walk in groups of 4. But it seems it's not uncommon for visitors to this mountain to believe they can do it on their own.
If you had have been 2 people there, they probably would have both been lost. You know, I don't know whether that would have saved any expense or any risks in this. You know, it would have been rescuing 2 people rather than 1 person.
He was on his own, but that's a matter for him, and I'm not going to get into that debate.
While Victoria Police refused to comment on the minister's decision to tackle the summit alone, some locals found it hard to believe the minister had attempted a solo walk.
If you're wanting to go out alone, I'd always probably recommend not going into the most extreme wilderness areas, beyond 10 kilometres from civilisation. You can get yourself in a lot of trouble.
Going out on your own in weather like that, if you're there with 2 or 3, well, then you've got a better chance, haven't you?
It's also been noted that the minister wasn't carrying an emergency position indicating radio beacon, or EPIRB. That surprised John Buckham, former chalet owner and local resident for almost 40 years.
I can't understand that it's not mandatory to wear that, and especially a minister and a minister for tourism, not to be prepared and carry that sort of gear with you just in case, and especially in winter, is I can't see the common sense.
If he had have had an EPIRB, and they're probably a $550, $600 item, he would have been retrieved on Sunday afternoon.
Tim Holding's solo adventure wouldn't have surprised anyone who knew his risk-taking personality.
I recognise in him enormous intellect, great drive and ambition, and a great single-mindedness that sometimes was an advantage and sometimes a disadvantage.
Notably, that ambition led him at just 19 and still at university to be elected to local council. He's been known in Labor ranks as Twinkle because former Premier Steve Bracks singled him out as a rising star. But authorities refute the notion that the minister's status led to the deployment of more than 80 emergency services personnel and volunteers at an unknown cost.
They are committed people, and they're not here just because it's Tim Holding, minister. They're here because somebody was missing in the bush and needed their assistance, and that's the reason they're here.
Well, what are you looking forward to doing tonight?
I'm not going hiking, that's for sure.
Tonight, maybe Twinkle will be thanking his lucky stars.
I'm sure he will. Lisa Whitehead with that report.